Hello, my name is Hector Pizarro. Today I will be your instructor. I hope everybody having a day or marvelous night, depending on what time zone are you in right now. Hopefully you guys are ready to browse and explore the beauty of growth and development. In this case, this subject and this matter would be about culture and diversity within your workplace, school settings, or community settings. I hope that this seminar helps everyone within your essentials, your tools, and your development process. Please bear with me as I go through these wonderful slides that I've created for you guys. By the end of this course, you will see culture from a different perspective from a different lens from what you was taught or once knew. I challenge you to explore and expand away from your comfort zone in order to you to gain the full experience. Identify and create ways to advocate in your school or workplace. Once identifying your hierarchy, your privilege, where you stand within the different diversity settings. Identify when someone's feeling oppressed or discriminated against. Hopefully, throughout this life, you can become an advocate or an advocate of change, culturally aware, and this is good for the teachers and the community activists that are out there, to help others understand their privilege or where they stand within the spectrum of privileged minorities and within the different spectrums of what it is to be culturally different, culturally accepted, moving away and really defining within your own group settings. Because keep in mind, we all do keep different definitions based on our personal experience, on our household, based on our communities, based on our beliefs, our creeds and codes. So this is really just to allow a different perspective, come out from a scholarly point of views in order so everyone could be initiated in an inclusive community. Let's define and explore culture awareness. Identify the manifestations of culture, understands layers of culture, reconciliation of cultural differences, and implement culture awareness. By the hope of these summarized sections, my goal is to offer these opportunities of growth and development within your agency, school settings, or community. Let's define culture. Culture refers to the cumulative deposit of knowledge, experience, beliefs, values, attitudes, meanings, hierarchies, religion, notions of time, roles, spatial relationships, concept of the universe, real objects, and possessions acquired by a group of generations through individual and group striving. Culture is the system of knowledge by a relatively group of people. Culture is communication. Communication is culture. Also, please advise that all of us might not relate to this definition of culture. All of us create and develop our sense of belonging within our own requirements and within our experiences. Looking at cultural relativism. Different cultures think, feel, and act differently. There is no scientific standard for considering one group as intrinsically inferior to another. Seeing differences in culture among groups and societies presupposition of cultural relativism. It does not imply normalcy for oneself nor for one society. It, however, calls for judgment when dealing with groups or societies different from one's own. Information about the nature of cultural differences between society, their roots, and their consequences should precede judgment and action and negotiation. It's more likely to succeed. Parties concerned understand reasons for the differences and viewpoints. It's just really a good way of summarizing and how we as individuals or groups, subgroups, really try to find a sense of belonging, labeling, titling. This is the part of the relationship that creates to try to see where someone falls within inferior or superior group. This is what helps categorize, and this is what actually develops stereotypes. It develops comfort zones. It develops many different uncomfortable areas because this is what you're taught. This is to develop your own sense of knowledge, your own understanding. Use that in everyday life. We are constantly trying to see, where this inferior or superior group, cult, creed, values. So I really allow you guys to really do this and see, what's a perfect example of cultural relativism for you. Hopefully, you came with a good response and a good understanding so that you can acknowledge and expand within your own consciousness, within your own perspective, within your own understanding of what is culture to you. Now, the manifestation of culture. I want to look at cultural differences manifest themselves in different ways and in different levels of depth. Symbols represent the most superficial and values the deepest manifestations of culture with heroes and rituals in between. Symbols are words, gestures, pictures, or objects that carry a particular meaning, which is only recognized by those who share a particular culture. New symbols easily develop, old ones disappear. Symbols from one particular group are regularly copied by others. This is why symbols represent the outermost layer of culture. Heroes are a person, past or present, real or fictitious, who possesses characteristics that are highly prized in a culture. They also serve as models for behavior. This also gives a perfect example of how history, of how time and everything evolves from another. The past, present, all of those influence individuals and influence groups, influence the campaigns within cults, within settings of schools, within settings of churches, within settings of the community. Now, rituals are collective activities, sometimes superfluous in reaching desired objectives, but are considered as socially essential. They are therefore carried out most of the times for their own sake. Ways of greetings, paying respect to others, religious and social ceremonies. That's when we more talking in religious perspective, like in the church, within the mass, within ceremonies, vigils, spiritual components, consultants spiritually. This is really going into the program of understanding the core of how things are formed, of what are the rituals, what is right, what's considered right or wrong, How is this taught? Many values remain unconscious to those who hold them. Therefore, they often cannot be discussed, nor they can be directly observed by others. Values can only be inferred from the way people act under different circumstances. Again, going back into what is taught, what have we been known to understand, known to follow? What are the rules? What are the creeds and codes that are being taught in the school systems, in our family settings? Congratulations! You have completed the Cultural Awareness and Implications course. Now, before we fully end within our sessions, I would like to first go over some of the main objectives. Now, we understand that culture could be defined within a group, within a tradition, within a value, within your rules, obligations. We all compare and we all contrast things differently. Now, understanding that when it comes to culture, culture is something that may be right, may be wrong, but under the circumstances, there is no superior, there is no hierarchy culture when it comes to mankind. What we advise within our educational, our school settings and business professions, that we become tolerance within understanding and respect of differences. We ask that within your own belief systems, that you explore and you allow others to share themselves as who they are and who they desire to be. Understanding diversity is really understanding that cultures are seen as misunderstood, uncomprehensive, and sometimes unpredictable. But any of those things do not fall upon the individual who's following within the creeds and codes and values. Now, we all know that there's always a superior and inferior group within hierarchies. Women get paid less than a man. The LGBT communities aren't accepted and expressed within our professional school settings or religious settings. Our respect for the economy, our respect within our races, within the skin tones, all of these things aren't respected and accepted within tolerance. Now, hopefully, within learning and in understanding what culture is to you, you can become an advocate of change, an advocate to ensure that, as Gandhi stated, you could be the change that you wish to see. Let's create an end to all of this madness. Let's create an end to discrimination, racism, all the isms that are out there, sexism, classism. And let's create diversity within acceptance, love, communication, and working within an inclusive and understanding community. Now, this is it. Blessings, namaste, and thank you for taking the time to take this course.